Good morning. I just popping on to say hi and to share a cup of coffee with you guys. And I'm getting ready to read some scripture, and I thought, why not just share this one? Um, it's someone recommended it, like Psalm 54, and it's a short one, so I'm just gonna read it real quick. It says, "Save me, O Elohim, by your name, and judge me by your strength. Hear my prayer, O Elohim. Give ear to the words of my mouth. For strangers are risen up against me, and oppressors seek after my soul. They have not set Elohim before them, Selah. Behold, Elohim is my helper. Adonai is with them that uphold my soul. He shall reward evil to my enemies. Cut them off in your truth. I will freely sacrifice to you. I will praise your name, O Yahweh, for it is good. For he has delivered me out of all trouble, and my eye has seen his desire upon my enemies." So it's a beautiful psalm, and there's a time and there's a time and season for things like this, obviously, as we know that David had a lot of enemies. Even within his own household, his own children were his enemies. So David wrote these psalms when he was going through some really difficult times in his life, to just talk about a couple different things going on. And I guess we can just call it coffee time with Veronica this morning, because I'm having my cup of coffee. And one of the things I wanted to talk about was my EcoFlow, and maybe somebody in the comments can help me out. I don't know. So I noticed that when I go to unplug it from the solar, so basically what I'll do is I get up in the mornings, and there's usually about 50-something% left over from the night before. And then I'll go and put it on the solar panels. And my solar panel's not adequate for what I need, but it was able to charge it up enough to where it run things during the day, and then at night I would just top it off again. So when I went to plug it in, well, when I was trying to unplug it, and I noticed that it was very hard to unplug. Like, I drag it, I'm yanking on it, and it wouldn't unplug, and I couldn't understand why. And then I looked at once I got it unplugged, I looked at the little orange part of it. It has like an orange and a black part to it. And the orange part was turning black. It looks almost burnt, but I didn't smell, it doesn't smell burnt or anything. It just looked burnt. And so I plugged it in again another day, and still it was hard to come out. But then I noticed that it stopped pulling power from the solar panels. So it's like now pulling zero power from the solar panels. So right now I'm just strictly using my generator to charge up. It's working out the way I'm using it. It's just that not being able to charge up during the day now off of the solar is annoying. Now, I know that my solar system is coming, and I'll kind of just give you guys updates as to what's going on with everything. So my sheetrock started. I mentioned that in a previous video. One second, let me just sip some more coffee here before it gets cold. My sheetrock started, and before I get into my sheetrock, I wanted to mention this. So the video I did about the county inspector. So I just want to be clear that nobody called the county. Nobody called the county. I called the county. Nobody snitched on me or anything, because I got two people that said that to me, and I'm like, no, nobody called on me. I called them myself. So I just wanted to clear that up. And I also wanted to clear up another thing is so I get along so well with my children. My daughter, we talk almost every single day. My son, not so much. He'll just be in the background, "Hey, Mom," and he's off. We don't talk as often. Maybe a couple times a week. But my daughter, we talk every single day, and we talk for extended time. So I don't experience that. It's getting cold, so I gotta like guzzle it down. I don't experience that loneliness that some people who are living like me would be experiencing, because I'm still really close with my kids and talk to them. And one of the things my daughter was afraid of was that, I was going to be here and I was going to be lonely all the time. And maybe that's why she feels so compelled to call me every day. But one of the ways that I've been able to be by myself a lot in my life is I it is I talk to myself a little bit. I know that sounds crazy, but I do talk to myself a little bit. And when something bad happens to me, right? When something is troubling my spirit, when something has me concerned, when something has me overwhelmed, one of the things I have to do, that's just my personality. I have to say it out loud. I have to, like, it's almost like I'm expelling it from my system. And typically I guess it depends on how big the problem is. Typically 99% of the times, just saying it the one time gets it out. Now I could say it to someone, I could say it to myself, and now that I have a YouTube audience, I could say it to you guys. And so, but I have to mention it somehow to expel it from my system. And so while I don't want my channel to become me complaining about negative comments all the time, it's going to be a part of the journey. I am going to mention them. And I mention them, I don't want to hit them over the head or overstate them or give too much life to them. But because I am on this journey, and those things are a part of my journey, and they help to shape me, actually. Negative, good comments, bad comments, they help to shape me, because some of the negative comments that I've received, I've been able to look at them and use them to take action one way or another. So that's what I'm like. It's not like I'm inviting negativity, and I don't want to give more life to it or more power to anything negative, but I'm not gonna, like, not acknowledge them either. So but I don't want to talk about them for like 20 minutes every single video either. So I want to find that gentle balance, because I realize that what I'm doing is a mission field. I know it doesn't seem like that. I know it seems like I'm just on here showcasing my life, and YouTube pays you a little bit of money, and those things may seem like they're the main driver here, but no, I think that that Yah sent me ahead. Someone said that in the comments, and it was so wonderful to read that. It's like, the person said, sis, how do you know that Yah is not sending you ahead? And I know that's what he's doing. I'm not sure what the mission is fully yet. I'm not sure exactly what work he has for me yet. But I know that just everything that aligns and everything that he's done so far for me is not just for me. It couldn't be. It couldn't be just for me. There is a higher purpose in it. And so a part of that higher purpose is sharing some of the things that could go wrong. And a part of that is people not necessarily loving what you're doing by negative comments. A lot of people who are doing the off-grid thing, let me sip my coffee again. It's totally not hot anymore. A lot of people who are doing this off-grid thing want to start YouTube channels because they realize that, hey, I could share my story and YouTube would pay me a little bit of money, and that will help to supplement my revenue stream, as because most of us who come off grid, we're giving up revenue streams. We're giving up incomes to do this, and so people find that YouTube will help to replace that. So there's no denying that. So for me, sharing every aspect of it and just being brutally honest about everything is a part of it, is a part of helping the next person. In my own vocation as an interior designer, because when I started my interior design business, it was almost as if I was paving the way for other designers of color, because there wasn't a lot of us in the industry at that time. And truth be told, I did not sit down and made a conscious decision and say to myself, Veronica, you need to pave the way for young Black designers coming up. I literally never said that to myself, literally. But I just knew that there was just no way Yah was blessing my career path this way, and I was supposed to just keep it all to myself. Like, I knew that. I knew that if he's blessing me in this way, he's opening all these doors for me, it means I need to keep the door open for the next person. And it so happens that it was starting to attract a lot of designers of color. And that's when I was just like, wow, so that's what this mission is. It's because we are, listen, if you don't follow interior design and Black designers, you need to. And it is, if you look at the work of a lot of the Black designers right now, just go onto Instagram, we just sprinkle a little bit more flavor, a little bit more flavor, the colors, the patterns, the on point. And honestly, my career trajectory helped to shape and carved that path for a lot of those designers that you see right now doing so well and thriving. Am I taking credit for, like, oh my gosh, I made it? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I think what happened is because they saw that I boldly stood up, claimed what was rightfully mine, because I felt like I was talented. I felt like I was doing the work. And because they saw that, a lot of them saw that, and they're like, I can do that too. I can absolutely do that too. And so that's the same thing I'm feeling when it comes to this off-grid. No, I'm not a pioneer, because clearly I'm like late to the game here. But I can still keep the door open for some of the other off-gridders who are coming in, because I truly believe that just sharing your story truly and authentically is really all you need. And that's why sometimes you're gonna come and you're probably not gonna like some of the content some days, because I'm just like sharing what's going on that day, So, but I feel like showing up and just like talking about every aspect of it, including when negative things happen, is a part of it. So I just want to clarify that I don't want to give life to anything negative or anything. I don't want to put more energy into it, but I'm not going to ignore it either. I'm always going to acknowledge it, and I'm going to mention it. I just don't want to mention it for like a whole video, unless the video is really about that, if that makes sense. So my sheetrock guy came, and he was sick for a while, and then he came and he started my sheetrock work. And then, because okay, so I'm working through a general contractor. He's a GC, but I did not hire him as a general contractor to oversee the entire project. Because as you know, if you hire a general contractor to oversee an entire project like mine, it means you have to pay them for the whole project, and they do what they do and bring in all the subs and all that, right? I did not want to do it that way, first of all, and I did not have all the funds to just say, hey, have at it, right? So I knew that I had to phase out my project, and so I hired a general contractor so that he could bring in his subs for the things that I needed, and I paid him for like this particular phase. Like phase 1 was like doing all the rough-ins and all of that stuff. So I knew that I wanted him for phase 1, and he was to bring in his subs, right? Then I knew that I could also go, I wasn't contractually obligated to using him for everything. So I knew that I could go out and get my own subs as well too, because I'm very, very familiar with that process of hiring people for work. I do it for my clients all the time. Now, I will tell you this, when I'm doing it for my clients, believe it or not, I'm a lot more discerning and a lot more rigid, and my standards are a lot higher when I'm hiring people for my clients, believe it or not. And the reason is because people gave me money for it. And when somebody gives me money, I value that. And I will never allow anybody to say I gave Veronica money and I didn't get what I expected to get. That's never going to be said about me. So I'm a lot stricter, and that's why I've lost a lot of relationships with contractors in the past, because I get super strict with them. So when it comes to my projects, I'm a little bit more lenient, and the reason is because I am trying to test the waters. So a lot of time I use myself as a guinea pig to test new contractors to see if I can bring them in on my client projects. So I just wanted to state that. So the GC I'm working through, I wanted him to bring in his subs for certain things, and I knew I could go out and get my subs for certain things. And don't forget, I'm new to the area as well, so I don't have subs yet here. So the sheetrock guy came, and he was hired through my GC. And I think he was sick, because I know he came and looked at the job, and excuse me, and then he couldn't start right away because he was sick for a while. So I don't know, I guess it's an ongoing thing, because he came and he started the job, but he has not been able to return for the last 2 days. So I'm waiting on my GC now to just either bring in, I don't know if it's the same guy coming back, if he's feeling better, I don't know. But not a whole lot is going on with my sheetrock at this moment, just because I'm waiting for my GC, who is he's finishing up something this week, and he should be back. I think tomorrow, he said. So, well, he said tomorrow. I don't think for sure he said tomorrow, but so, is it something that I'm just like, but I try not to, like, be super demanding and unsympathizing or empathetic to other people's scenario, because if the guy's sick, he's sick, you know what I mean? And so, I don't know if it's something that's really hard on him type of sick, or I don't know what it is, because I didn't ask. But I'll pray for him, that he recovers. So I just wanted to say that I have not been able to show anything regarding that, just because there's not a whole lot happening. The first day he was here, he didn't do a ton, because he was like doing a lot of prep work, and then he started hanging in a couple areas, so it's not enough to like go do a video about it yet. So there's that. Yep. So my networking stuff is like totally paying off. Well, not yet. So here it's one thing I had to realize, that it's very seasonal here. Not the case in Houston, so I'm not really used to that. But this is a slow season. People just don't do much right now. And so one of the people that I met at one of my networking things, she had invited me out to the showroom and stuff and she wasn't there when I went, by the way. And then so we scheduled another time, and I went back, and oh my goodness, it was so amazing. And I'm so hopeful for the future, that because she just kind of expressed to me that there is a need for my services up here. And it really just encouraged me, because at first I was just like, I don't know, is there a need for it? But she was telling me like, wow, I mean, I'm so glad you came into town. I'm so glad I met you. She just really she needs that resource for her clients, because she cares a lot about her clients, you can tell. So, and the way I work is super complementary to the way she works. So I think that's going to be a very, very good partnership, me and her. So I'm looking forward to that. So we had a really nice conversation yesterday. And so I'm starting to, it's putting a little bit more hope in me. And the funny part of it too is, it doesn't sound like because, in Houston, when I did some of the projects I did, the projects I love to do are the decorating projects, the ones that are furniture, mostly furniture, because that's where the personality comes in. And that's what I love most about interior design, is like you get to infuse your own story, your own personality into it, right? Now, of course, I love the technical parts as well, because, those are important for the safety of the building, for, the layout, of the comfort. It's a big part of the comfort, right? So yeah, the kitchen remodeling and the bathroom remodeling, I do those, but they are so demanding of time, brain power, which I don't mind, but those were more like, okay, this is my job. When it comes to the furniture part and the accessories and the wallpaper and the draperies and the fineries, that is beyond my job. That is my calling. So that's the part of it that I love. And so I got the impression that most of the jobs here, yes, there's remodeling type jobs and stuff, but it looks like that's what the need is mostly here. So I'm super excited about that, because that's the part of the job that I love. And you know what? That's the most profitable part of the job too, by the way. When it comes to like kitchen and bathroom modeling, you charge a fee for your design services, and if the client wants you to do site visits and things like that, you charge your fee for that. And for the most part, all you make is your fee. When it comes to furniture, you charge your fee for coming up with a design, coordinating everything, placing all the orders, blah blah blah, doing all the things, showing up on site to meet contractors who are working to install a wallpaper, paint, blah blah blah. So you charge your fee for your time for all of those things. And then you turn around and you sell the furniture, because we set up wholesale trade accounts with, we partner with wholesale vendors who only sell to the trade. They don't sell direct to consumers. And so what that means is we're acting like a retailer. So basically you can, because I had a retail shop at one point, so you can open up a retail shop and do it that way. but the overhead was just too it's too much. It's not worth it to do that. I mean, for some designers it is. For me, it just wasn't worth it. Having the overhead and having to like man a store all the time. You always have to have somebody there for walk-ins and all of that. So instead of having a storefront, you can just sell furniture direct to your clients, because you know they need furniture anyway and they have to buy it anyway. So instead of having them go buy it on their own, you supply it as the retailer. So now you're making a margin on the furniture as a retailer, and you have to. It would be silly not to. People there are people who think that that's like double dipping, they call it, which is so ridiculous to me, because um I have two roles in this equation. I'm your designer and I'm also your retailer. So it's not double dipping. And here's why. Because if you're ordering furniture for people, you're taking on an incredible amount of liability. Like you own that furniture piece until it's safely in the client's home. And even when it's in their home, you still have a responsibility. And so if you didn't make money on the furniture, you can't like service that piece. You can't maintain it if something goes wrong or whatever. So it's imperative. And this is what I used to train designers on, is how to charge your design fee and your furniture and be fair to your clients and be fair to yourself as well. Because people literally think that designers are supposed to just give this stuff away for some reason. They don't think any other trade. They go to the doctor's office, the doctor, or let's say you go to an esthetician and they charge their fee to do the stuff to your face, and then they're selling you the little products that they use, or the hairdresser or whatever. They're adding their margin to those products, right? Nobody has a problem with that. But when a designer does it, everybody has a problem with it. Not everybody, but it was just a known fact in the industry that there is a whole group of people out there in the world that think that designers should not make money off of the furniture that they sell. Anyways, so that's one of the things that I trained designers on, is the how to do that effectively, where the client is not paying out any more money than they would have paid out if they went and did it on their own. So there's a way to, I can't give out my secrets now. There's a way to making sure that you're fair to yourself and to your clients. And so I was very deep into that, very, very deep into that world. And I'm very, very knowledgeable about it. So if you're a designer watching this, and I still coach on that stuff. I just don't do it as much as I used to. But I still have all those things up here, and I still use those things actually, because I still run my business. But yeah, so just a lot of ramblings this morning. So I'm outside now, and I haven't done much to my garden since I showed my last short. So I'll show you where I'm at. All right, so I've only put up one side of my fence so far, and I'm probably going to start working on the other sides today, maybe. And I think I may need one more roll. I'm not quite sure yet. And my cart is coming in so handy. And so you can see my little garden beds. This is how I know that there are certain things that you just have to start doing to learn. No matter how many videos you watch, you will learn something from every video you watch, but you have to like literally do this. So another lady here in the area, she has a channel, and I love watching her channel, and she's so sweet. We've had some email conversations. She said something to me and it kind of went over my head at first. She commented on one of my gardening when I showed when I was putting in the stones, and she said something to me, and I think it went over my head at that time. And then I started, for some reason, I came across a video, because I was looking for rock garden beds, and I came across a video with about sunken garden beds, because what that lady had said to me was, oh yeah, so now the water can run into your garden, because she saw me doing the rocks like this, and she said now the water can run into your beds, and you have to water less or something, she said. I don't quite remember, it was a while ago. And it like I said, it went over my head because I didn't think it through, because I'm thinking I'm doing raised beds. That's why I kept saying I'm going to add another layer of rocks, right? And so I was searching for, just inspiration for garden beds that use rock as the border. And I came across a video about sunken beds. And it was, it's usually, you will find, it's so hard to find those videos about sunken garden beds. And so I'm probably just going to start doing more videos about that eventually. And I came across a video. First of all, it was one, I found one with a lady in Texas, and she was doing that, but she didn't have the stone things. But I also found another one. And so basically these are sunken beds, and they're intentionally sunken. So basically they dig out all of the soil, and which is exactly what I was planning on doing, except I was still considering mine raised beds. But but sunken beds are better for our climate because it retains the water a little bit longer, and yeah, basically that. So with the sunken beds, it's the same thing I was planning on doing, except I was considering it raised beds because I was gonna make it higher. But now I'm probably just gonna dig out all of the dirt, all the soil, and then mix it up, sieve it out, make sure there's no rocks and stuff in it. I have a hard time saying that word, so somebody's gonna have to correct me if I'm saying it wrong. And mix it up with compost and worm castings and all of that stuff, and then put it back in there, and then mulch it as normal. So the beds are like lower than the ground, and so water will run into the beds. And that's literally what she was saying to me. And it went over my head a little bit just because I wasn't quite familiar with sunken beds. So most of those videos, which you can't really find good videos on that on online, you're mostly going to find places in Africa that does that. So it's really like in arid climates that tend to do that. So yeah, so now my raised beds are going to be sunken beds, and I probably won't be adding a second level of rocks because then you don't need to. Now I'm going to struggle getting the soil out. So I may have to have James come back and just help me out a little bit with that. And because he has to come back anyways. I'm just trying to see because now if I put in more of the rock beds, how is he going to navigate this area? I don't know. So I have some decisions to make. I did try to get some compost. So I went from place to place. Nobody has compost. And so finally I went to this one place. Somebody told me to go to this place. I went and they didn't have compost. And but they gave me the number for, I forget what it's called. And they do compost for sure, but they don't have any yet. They won't have any till March. So I wanted to start the beds and kind of have the compost in to like start doing its thing, but that's not a thing. So that's not going to happen until March. Also, I bought some seed starting things. So I have some seeds that I'm planning on starting. So I have some soil, got these little thingy things, and then I have these thingy things over here that the bottles that I've been using. I kind of keep them so I can use them as little mini greenhouses if I need to. And so I'm gonna try to start some seeds, but for the most part the plan is to get seedlings, and I know those can add up very, very fast. So I'm really trying to not having to get too many of them. But right now I think my focus and my energy should be spent building the garden and not trying to keep seeds alive. So I think I'm just gonna bite the bullet and just get seedlings for the most part. But I'm starting things like lettuce, and it's the temperature is so really nice right now, but I don't know if it's gonna get cold and we're gonna get a cold snap. So I have to be careful and not start too many seeds that I can't maintain. So yeah, so the garden is huge on my mind, and it's slow going with me, but obviously I've made some progress, but there's just so much more to go. The wire, the fence thing was not hard to put up at all. It's just not perfect. You can look at it, you can tell it's not perfect, but it wasn't very hard to put up. I know this cannot remain permanently, especially if I don't have the property fenced, because I feel like I'm going to get cows in here. Now these I believe are pretty sturdy in the ground, but like a cow is probably like 500 pounds. I don't know how much they weigh. Somebody's gonna have to tell me how much a cow typically weighs, but I can see them just like leaning against the fence, and there it goes. Okay, so and I still have to come back and do like wire at the bottom, and then rocks. I'm gonna line it with rocks at the bottom as well, going all the way around. And even though I have a million rocks on the property, they're not all in one place. I gotta like walk all around the place to get them. I was getting rocks all the way back here the other day, which is where I heard the mountain lion or whatever it was from inside, right? So I was like thinking, I was walking all the way down there, and just picking up rocks willy-nilly. And I thought to myself, this is the beginning of every horror movie I've ever watched. You know, somebody's like picking something up and they end up in the middle of the forest where they weren't supposed to be, and then they get snatched up. I'm like, let me not venture too far. So that was kind of funny to me. But anyways, so my weather station is doing pretty good. Pretty good. And I think I'm just gonna leave it here because I just put it there temporarily because didn't have a ladder to get up there because that's where I was gonna put it. But I like that it's here. I like that it's here. So I think it's gonna remain there. As you can see, we don't have any wind right now, but it's just been really good. So Sane Logic, thanks for that. Thanks for that. I did not know that I needed that, but I do need that. It's been very, very helpful to understand the wind speed, where direction of the wind. We haven't had any rain so far, so I don't know about the rain portion yet, but it looks like we did get a little bit of drizzle. I don't know if you can see the ground has like sprinkles, but yeah, so I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna turn on my generator now to charge up my EcoFlow because, like I said, the little pluggy thing isn't working. If anybody has any information or knowledge about that, let me know. I'm trying not to go out and buy anything right now regarding that. So just let me know if there's something I can do to fix it, or I don't know if I can just buy just a little pluggy top part. I don't know. But like I said, it's not charging. It's not pulling anything from the solar panels, and that's a little frustrating. So all right, I'm gonna end it here.